if we pick up here with the six of us heading towards Old Town, you are heading up into the kind of northern end of the district. Most of you will pretty quickly recognize that you are going into a familiar area. This is nearby to where you found the house that tunneled down into and to the Bane Warrens. It is not the same area, but it is kind of like one street off of it. So that little house was an actual home, and it's a little bit to the southeast of where it says 41 up here. The apartment building itself that you guys are heading to is off of Crossing Street, which heads kind of between there off to the left of the 41. And Crossing Street leads to one of the bridges that leads into the river district, the more western of those bridges. And we're going to one of those apartment buildings kind of in the southeast of that four-cornered square of apartment buildings there, and I'll circle it here for. Bam. We are heading to that little apartment building. So Nefrandel is traveling with like a piece of paper basically to give her like the actual location. You might be heading up Crossing Street, or you might be heading up Tower Road, but you can basically see where you're going to, and then see that there's like the cross from Crossing Street. You're going to turn right down this road, and you'll see that it's the second apartment building before you meet this road, and then those two converge to meet this road. But basically, Nefrandel knows either coming from Tower Road and then turning left, that coincides with the same road that if you went to Crossing Street, you would turn right on. So you all have like a little bit of a moment before you actually go towards that T intersection that's at the corner of the actual apartment. Do you have any thoughts about, do you want to try to go invisible at the last moment? Do you want to go invisible, even before you split off of Crossing and Tower and become invisible, well beforehand? Do you have thoughts on when you want to start to magically conceal yourselves on that level? I believe Dalton would probably be going for the same time frame on his disguised self. I think it is a magical hour as well.
Yeah, it's 1 hour for the invisibility. And so, from last session to like right now, we're just picking up straight up, right? So we're still like keeping everything depleted this time.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and then I have an option randomly, as like you had mentioned, tiny hut. I'm pretty sure I understand how ritual spells work, but that one is a ritual. So does that mean that one doesn't take up a spell slot when you cast it?
If you have the time, yes. So I think Tiny Hut takes 1 minute or 11 minutes if you cast it as a ritual without a spell slot.
Oh, okay. So you could do it in 1 minute if you use a spell slot, but if you ritual cast Tiny Hut, it will be 11 minutes because it would be the spells casting time plus the 10-minute ritual time, but it wouldn't use
Correct,
a
yeah.
slot then? Okay, okay, I got it.
So there's a certain sense where, you could imagine a battle where everybody is trying to defend you while you spend the 1 minute casting Tiny Hut. You could imagine that. If you were in that same time frame and you had to ritually cast it, things would be far more difficult because that's talking about 66 rounds instead of six. Or in 66, what was it? it's 660 rounds instead of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 10 rounds is even a lot, but I totally get what you're saying.
110 rounds. Yeah, yeah. It's 110 rounds instead of 10. And that's the difference in, you know, there is a viable you could cast Tiny Hut in combat. It would be pretty crazy, but it's viable. And that's really the big difference. If you're out of combat, most of the time there's not a huge difference between taking a minute to cast something in the spell and the actual 11 minutes of doing it ritually.
Yeah, but just the idea that like if an emergency came up and I didn't have a spell slot saved, I could still cast it is like pretty cool outside of combat. I don't think it's really realistic to do much that takes a minute or more during combat because like I don't even know if we've ever had a combat last more than 10 rounds.
Yeah, definitely a weird thing about combat is like if we spent 10 rounds in combat, that's often, more than like an entire session of gameplay. And that's part of the real problem with long combats is not only are they long in game, like how much time it would feel like goes by, the actual time in the real world is just absolutely dreadfully long. So back to that question there though, do you have thoughts about where you want to cast these? You do basically have an hour from each of them.
I mean, I would think once we're like within a few blocks.
I mean, I think like if we go Tower Road, when we turn in left on that side road, do it there, so we're not like in an open road doing it as well.
Gotcha. So that is like a few more blocks of walking along that side road, like side of that alley. You're heading towards the corner of the apartment building. Theoretically, there's no corner windows, so nobody's like looking straight down that street. You got a building on each side. Theoretically, you can make sure nobody's looking out of a window there, and they're not going to see like an immediate kind of change in like the disappearance of people. So that seems like a pretty viable spot.
All right, so I'm about to spend that then.
Gotcha. So Dalton will burn his disguised self.
Is there any reason to make one more person invisible? Oh wait,
I
fourth level
don't
I can make
think
three. Yeah, yeah. Fourth level I can make three. That's what I'm doing. Sorry, sorry.
I don't think there's any more reason because they don't need anybody but Gale and Jinx. Like the two of you are the only ones who are known. Dalton can change himself. He could go invisible, but um, what am I trying to get at here? I feel like what we're going for is
Yeah, three people. It's fourth level. I can make three people invisible. We're good. I was just confused for a
but you're
second.
making Gale, Jinx, and Tom invisible. Um, I feel like I feel like we're going off of they essentially know what Scaris and Jamil look like, but Scaris, Jamil, and Curifin are the ones who are expected. That's why Karina and Dalton are going as these people because they are using disguise self to become Scaris and Jamil. So the three people showing up is just part of that. The other three invisible is just because you guys are extra. But like Tom could show up as somebody else and just be a fourth person if you wanted to make two people invisible.
Nope, still sticking with 3.
Gotcha. So Dalton can turn into Scaris. Karina can turn into Jamil. Uh, you've got a full description from Curifin. The two of them are familiar enough as far as those things go that they do that. The three of you immediately kind of like slide out of kind of visual view as you become invisible, and the weave sort of covers over you, and you all can continue forward towards this apartment building. You are heading up the street. It's probably only another few minutes of walk, like maybe 1 or 2 minutes. As you head up the street, the building itself doesn't seem active. We're kind of putting this at like kind of an early evening sort of thing. I think we basically had you guys like heading off for an hour or two that you had like free time to plan between, and then everybody would come back for the meeting when it was, proposed, like coming up like right before dusk effectively. So you're kind of approaching it as shadow of the spire is crossing over. This area is generally dark, but there's still sunlight kind of coming down around you, but it is effectively coming towards that dusk hour. Coming up on it, you don't see lights inside. This is a two-story apartment building. There's a roof above, everything that you would sort of expect. It would appear, I would say, to have three, probably six windows on each level to each side. So you could expect, like, say, 3 or 6 apartments if they were small apartments side by side, but it's probably closer to expect that there's, like, 3 apartments on each side. The corner ones, having, 4 windows kinda thing. You know what I'm kinda getting at? That, like, there would be 2 corner apartments and then a central apartment. So, what is that? Like a total of 8 apartments on each level kind of thing? Something of that kind of nature, how you're approaching it from the windows here. When you come up to the apartment building, you will find that the entryway is actually off of that southeastern street, and it is on that central side of the south building. There's a little bit of kind of like a stone plinth kind of walk up to that level, but there is a single central wooden door that you guys can access on that southern side of the building. I know I have a lizard folk already for Tom. Man, my apologies there. There's Tom. Any thoughts on entering the building? Do you have a preference on just kind of like walking in? Do you all have any thoughts on how you would scout it ahead of time? Do you want to immediately like try to like investigate the door? Are you just kind of walking in casually? I guess really it's also just those three right off the bat.
Yeah, I think like seeing as they're supposed to be acting like they belong there, then probably just going in. Unless like Neffy has particular like secret knock or anything they're supposed to do.
Gotcha. So yeah, in the long run, you guys do know that you're effectively expected to be here. And this is what like the rings do is they're kind of like the identifier of members of the Brotherhood of Venom. So when it does come time, you can effectively have maybe Nefrandel kind of steps in. And do you have any thoughts on like how to sneak the invisible people in? That's kind of what I was getting at. It's like, do you guys have thoughts on like how you're going to make this happen? Have you thought about the fact that you're going to have like somebody open a door and maybe have a little bit too much space between each other? A marching order.
Yeah, I think after like the first few people go in, they would like kind of clear a path and then like stall, one of them standing like kind of in front of the open door, and then invisible people coming in as Dalton like slowly moves in last or whatever to make sure that they like clear the way, but it's not like super obvious.
Any thoughts on what he would be doing?
What who would be doing?
Dalton, to like take that time but not be obvious.
I mean, it could be like finishing off a cigarette or something like that before he walks in and putting it out on the ground.
That was precisely what I was looking for. So when you guys step in, you can have Neffy kind of opening up the door, and you'll see that there's a hallway effectively in front of you. This hallway leads to the back of the building, and you've got access to 6 doors here. 2 to the east, 2 to the west. One of them is, in front of you on each side, and then the hallway kind of extends to the back of the building, and the same idea. There's an eastern and western door once you get back there. You would probably have enough to notice that the hall seems to turn right after the eastern door at the end of that kind of hallway. But you can have Nefrandel walk in. You can have Karina walk in second, and Dalton kind of outside, smoking a pipe. Is that what Jinx usually smokes as cigarettes, or is it a pipe?
Oh, usually cigarettes, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe Dalton has one of Jinx's cigarettes and just kind of takes that time to, stuff it down into the cement on the ground and leaves that moment in between where, like Nefrandel's holding the door. You guys can step into the actual hall. He, has like a close ear to the ground to make sure that there's nobody else walking in at that point, and it gets all 6 of you inside of the building. There doesn't appear to be anyone inside at present.
So I'm
I
thinking we want to stay invisible as long as we can. So I just want to make sure intentionally we don't like get rid of the invisibility. But I'm pretty sure it just says that if we cast a spell or like attack something. But like we can still like fully talk and everything like that if we wanted.
indeed, yep.
Well, I mean, we made it in. What's the plan from here? I mean, we should try to get in as deep as we can before we reveal ourselves, no?
I was expecting that there would be more of the cults here. This doesn't seem to be exactly what I had expected. I believe we are supposed to meet. I, this is curious.
Maybe they're here, they're just not like right here. So we should definitely be on the lookout. Know this place at all? You know where people would be gathered? If like there was a meeting or something?
I have never been here. This is new, supposed to be new to us all.
Well, I guess plenty of doors if you want to have a look around.
So do you want to pick a door? Do you guys have any thoughts on how you would start looking around?
So I'm thinking that we go for like the non-invisible people, try a couple doors and like casually, and if like somebody's on the other side and it's like, hey, what are you doing? Like go for just like the play dumb. Like, oh, I'm looking for everybody. Like we didn't know where to go. So maybe have Dalton try the one that's like right by him down in the bottom right. And then I don't know if Gail, you want to try the one that's by you?
I mean, I could.
Gotcha. Are you thinking about having people checking multiple doors at once, or do you think you are checking a single door?
Oh, but like if we want to go ahead and like have Dalton go first, and then if there's no like event, nothing crazy happens, it's just like an empty room. You know, he could go have a look around while like Gail checks like the next door. You know what I mean? But I don't think we should all just like kick open all the doors at like the exact same time.
Gotcha. So when Dalton goes to open the door is not locked. Immediately upon opening the door, Dalton can kind of start to move it open. There is a little bit of a resistance as he starts to open it, and then that just kind of goes where he opens it freely. And he's going to very quickly kind of see that this room is like thrashed and destroyed. There's a lot of damage to the room itself. And there are two humanoids in this room that, as light sheds in, he's going to see are not simply just people who are here, but these things that have been like not necessarily mangled, but you can see that if they were human at some point, they no longer are. Where arms should be, sometimes there are like bone protrusions coming out. These things probably have less, if not no, eyes on them, or at least not easily visible. Their skulls almost seem very kind of deformed into sort of like a shield almost that kind of covers their face, where they have just this like titan that almost comes down over much of their face, and it's like a jaw only that kind of remains. And again, they look humanoid enough in silhouette, but once the light kind of shines on them, this is one of those things where there's more and more things for you to recognize. These things are not strictly speaking humans, and something or some other is either different about them or has been changed. They seem to be effectively like fleshless, some sort of perversions of humanoids. But that is just going to be his first impression as he opens this door, because immediately upon the door opening, they are going to start to attack. So let's see. Dalton is going to be the person who's going to roll initiative for you guys. But let me just have one of you roll a d20. Whoever would like to roll it is the first person to roll.
14.
And Dalton has a +4 to initiative. So you guys will have 18. I'm horrible at rolling for initiative. So Dalton reacts to seeing these creatures as he opens up the door. He's going to have the first reaction. Among making the kind of choices here, you guys can basically decide like, is he going to call for help? Is he gonna call for you guys like as a reminder, like, for now, kind of staying invisible? There's a lot of different levels of how you can kind of start off here, but I do want to put it out there that you guys are welcome to kind of make that decision where his first thought, at least vocalized, might be to say, for now, you're invisible, remain invisible. But it's kind of up to you guys. Like, Dalton will start your turn. You've got three people who can potentially fight these two creatures right off the bat, and then you can assess if you need to have people start dropping invisibility.
Okay, so yeah, I would think Dalton would probably jump to action right off the bat. Maybe get up there and uh, use the sword.
Gotcha. So he has, I believe, just a single attack with his sword. I don't think bards get extra. So you can roll a d20 with the Antarctic longsword.
So maybe like as he kind of calls for help, since we're kind of doing like a group turn, Jinx will take a step forward and touch him on the shoulder and give him a bardic inspiration, and just say like, "I can't do much, but this will help." And then I'm gonna give him inspiration. You want me to just roll an attack for him?
Yep. You can just roll a d20 plus 4, and then he can make the attack with a d10 damage.
+4, so that would be a 17. I am going
I
to
will
have him.
hit. Oh, my bad.
I was gonna say I'm gonna go ahead and have him use the bardic inspiration just to make sure, because like half of us can't fight right now. You know what I mean, theoretically. So,
Gotcha. So yeah, again, he's gonna hit with the 17. There's no need to roll it, but you can expend it there.
and then an 8 on the D10 for damage.
Oh man, this is one of those weird things about this game. Sometimes these things are large, and there's two of them in a room that cannot fit two large creatures. What the fuck? I don't know what to make out of that. um, Going back to just normal sized and ignoring that these things are supposed to be large. My bad. You rolled the d10 for damage already? I'm trying to look up the Antarctic sword to see its.
Yeah, the D10 I got an 8 on.
Yeah, and again, these are already kind of chaotic creatures, so the sword itself doesn't necessarily have additional damage profiles for this attack. Dalton just hears that little bit of a warning from Calrescent where it's just like, the creatures you're going to be fighting are chaos. So it's just kind of like a little bit of a reminder. That sword may not be entirely effective versus a lot of what you're going to encounter when you guys are fighting against the Chaos Cults. Bonus action from Dalton. Is there anything?
Does he have the ability to bonus action disengage right now?
I think level 2 in Rogue is where he gains cunning actions. Oh, he does have sneak attack though, so you can do an extra d6.
Nice, got the one.
What was the total damage that you rolled?
So I rolled an 8 and then I rolled a 1 right there. And then I think you said it was +3 or +2?
Oh, okay. A longsword is strength based. He has no strength, so it's just the +1, so it's 10 total damage. Let me have you roll a insight here. It's just a +3 if you'll roll a d20. Yeah, so from this attack, as he like cuts into the creature, I think one, it's that recognition that the Antarctic longsword isn't doing like extra things to this creature. But two, as he cuts into it, this is a pretty significant creature. It is not so insignificant that perhaps he does not strictly want help, and there are two of them. So I feel like this is kind of where me, especially with only two of you here, is gonna kind of say these are tougher opponents. It may be enough to say, Dalton should be calling for you guys to drop any pretense and approach this with the hostility that you kind of are seeing. The first room you open up is right into creatures that immediately attack you. So I think that's more than I would normally say. So I feel like that kind of gives you a little bit more to work with. And the two of you can kind of move forward how you still decide. I'm not forcing you to drop the invisibility, but just like that's kind of what you're walking into. And Nefrandel kind of already expressed a little bit of like, I thought we were walking to a meeting, not into a empty, like sleeping apartment building.
So yeah, I guess like when he calls for help, I'm just gonna say to everybody, and the invisibility was just to get us in the door. We're here now. It's time for action. And I will drop invisibility on everyone.
Gotcha. That doesn't actually take any action economy from you. You've technically only bonus actioned to give him a little bit extra from Bardic Inspiration. What would Jinx like to do? And as well, Dalton's only moved technically like one space, so he could also, you know, theoretically, I think he can only move to the north there, but he could at least be here. I think provoking opportunity attacks, he could move around there, but he would
And
be provoking opportunity.
could he just go through the square with the bottom one and just go straight forward like that to not
No,
provoke?
I've been mistaken. You can't travel through the space of an enemy.
Oh, okay. I actually think that makes more sense.
If they were placed like that, he could move to that back position. But side by side, they basically make a shield wall. So he could move to where he is now, or he could move around, but it would provoke the opportunity attack.
No, I don't think broken opportunity attack because I think he probably would have just backed up and made them come to us. So I think put him there. Jinx will run up front and say, go ahead and do a Bane on the two of them, which is 15 Bane. Charisma, rather.
Gotcha. So the top one will fail and will be baned. The bottom one will not. And
All right.
theoretically, I've got him. He attacked the bottom one.
Okay, and then I'll just back out of the way.
I think Gale will just like shoot a firebolt at the one just directly ahead of him.
Excellent.
That is 12 to hit.
Like smashes into the door sill. There's like a little bit of an ember of the door kind of like catching this fire. Nothing that's going to significantly like endanger you of fire. It's just a miss.
And I think I'll just back up a little after that.
So Neffy's the typical NPC that you guys have had. I believe Tom and Karina are both the same thing. They are effectively rogues. I think you've chosen in the past that Tom is a cut purse, which is the classic rose. I don't know if Justin chose what Karina would be last week. I'm hesitant to have one of you choose when it's theoretically kind of his sidekick.
All right, well, I'm gonna have Neffy go in there too, so Dalton's like not in there by himself. But she has a ranged attack, so I'm gonna have her like move up, throw her like poison bomb at the one that failed the save, and then she's gonna like move on in past Dalton.
Gotcha. She's gonna poison bomb the one that was baned.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Gotcha.
So she'll have like a 20 something to hit.
That is a solid hit against it. It is going to try to claw her as she walks past. And that's going to be a big ol' miss with a rolled 4. 4 damage on the baned one.
Yeah, 4 damage and a Constitution saving throw, or be poisoned.
Should pass that with a rolled 15. I think their DC is 15 at this point. So you see on the die that it is rolled a pass. Oh, I don't think you guys actually. My bad. I don't think you have the bardic inspiration to lower that, anyways. My bad.
Oh wait, which one are you controlling, Chris? Are you doing the lizard or the or Karina?
Tom is his sidekick.
Oh, my bad. I moved Tom in there. You can do whatever you want with him.
I mean, that's fine. I was gonna get Tom in there as well and like attack the Bane one.
Yeah, okay. I was just kind of trying to like set it up so there's like maybe like some flanking assistance and give up like the least random hits. So if you're good with that, I'm good with that.
Yeah, once you provoke the one, like that's the only real provocation. Unless somebody steps in and then steps away, you can't provoke the other one.
Yeah, okay. Only a 7 with Karina to hit, so that should be a whiff.
What is their modifier on a cut purse? I'm pretty sure they're all cut purses. That's kind of what I was getting at.
I think Tom's is a +6.
+6. And what did you just say you rolled? My bad, Justin.
A 7.
A
So it'd be
7? Yeah, 13 or 12. Yeah. Shit. God damn it. I don't think that's high enough. My bad. And I don't think the 9's going to be high enough either. I think that comes out to a 15.
Yep, exactly.
So 15 is going to be a miss. You guys have hit, I believe, with a 17. So you kind of know it's either a 16 or a 17 as far as AC goes. So theoretically, you guys have moved in. You've kind of surrounded. Oh, actually, you know what? What was your actual roll, Justin, +6?
7. It was 7.
7. So yours was a 13. So it would be a 15 with the modified flanking rule. I'm gonna say Tom's will hit, as I definitely think you guys all have flanking here as you like surround the creature. Is Tom attacking the northernmost creature, or did he attack the one that you guys like walked past? Have you guys switched to kill the baned one first?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's what we were going for.
Gotcha. If it's fine by you guys, I'm gonna move those 10 from Dalton over to it. I didn't mean to like force Dalton to attack the one that was right in front of him. How much damage does Tom do? Gail?
he'll do 8 damage, and that is just regular piercing damage.
Excellent. Yeah, these creatures aren't necessarily like resistant so much as they seem to be sort of I don't know. They're just kind of like almost like bone and muscle sort of things. Not necessarily something that you expect to be resistant to any sort of magics, perhaps. What they will do, though, as you guys finish up here, is they are going to claw and thrash about them. Okay, Gale's sidekick is Tom. No, Gale is 3. So they are gonna go for one is stepping out. That'll provoke an opportunity attack from Nefrandel. Justin can roll, and then from Dalton, Chris can roll. So, Chris, can you roll a d20 from Dalton with a +4? Both of those should hit. Does Nefrandel have a normal attack? I feel like that's kind of a Warcaster thing, but let's go for it anyways. Her poison is kind of a weird. Just go for it like she's smashing a bottle over its head, sort of thing, with the vial. What's the poison damage from Nefrandel? And
7 from Neffy.
did I call it poison or acid?
You called it poison in the thing.
Okay, you will see that their chitin is resistant to the poison. So that poison is going to do less than you would expected. Dalton, or Chris, can you roll a d10 with Dalton? And this is just a +1.
So a 9 total.
All right, so this one moves away. It is going to bite and claw twice into Gale. So the bite is the only one that seems even remotely kind of on point, but you've got a rolled 18 and then a rolled 8 is potentially a threat. Did you want to try to affect any of those? I feel like it's a little bit too swingy to think either of those is going to be effective.
No, I've only got one inspiration left, so I'm gonna try to save it for.
Gotcha. So
Uh,
the 18,
I think yeah.
you have
I,
shield.
yeah, I mean, yeah. Fuck it, I'll use it because I'm not too.
Shield, I'll usually let you actually know. Yeah, I feel like shield is you already know whether something's going to hit you. You've got a 15 AC normally. The shield is not going to be able to prevent that bite. The claw attack is going to miss you.
Is that with the Bane?
That this is the one that is not banned.
Oh, okay, my bad, my bad. Okay.
I really don't like that. Like once I put these on, the creatures always like kind of error with me. So the bite is going to deal. Looks like 9 piercing and 8 poison damage to Gale. As that one bites into you, both of its claws are going to come up short as it tries to claw into you.
Gale is knocked the fuck out.
And then the other one,
Wait, were you already bloodied coming into this?
Yep.
you guys theoretically had a short rest in there. You didn't have to come immediately here. What could you guys have gained back with a short rest? That's like all bardic inspirations. That's something. Dalton was missing 13 hit points. Do you guys want to take a short rest before you're taking this?
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I could get back
Yeah.
some blood as well.
Yeah, I think I would have at least bare minimum done like the Bardic song for like anybody, or at least healed people if they were bloodied, like before we like went into here. So I would say for sure a short rest makes.
Yeah, the Song of Rest only counts if you are using at least one hit die. You can use the Song of Rest as the additional. So that's always an option when you are resting with a bard in the party. You've got 7 different hit dice. I think the rogue is the same as the bard. It's just a D8. So there's no difference in Dalton. He's missing 13. He could probably burn 2d8 and a d6 and gain all of that back. Yeah, I think that's what he would probably do is 2d8 and d6.
Yeah, and then Chris, whatever you do, add D6 to that also.
Okay, so I get an additional hit die. Let's see, how much damage did it take again? Was it like,
I think I did 9 and 8, 17 total.
yeah, that seems correct. Let's see, 70. So yeah, you would see Gale then, instead of getting knocked out, getting blooded.
Gotcha. So this other one that is baned is going to bite into Dalton, and then it too is actually rushing after Gale to attack Gale. So the bite into Dalton is going to be a big ol' miss with a rolled 1. It will have opportunity attacks provoked for both Karina and Tom. So I think here, if Justin would roll for Karina, should be a hit. And then Tom's is an 18, 20. Yeah, so should be a hit from both of them. And what's the damage on it, Gail? 2d6 plus?
2d6 plus 2.
So if you can roll 2d6 for us as well, Justin.
6
Uh,
damage.
6 from
6
you, and
across
what was
the
it from Tom?
8 from Tom.
And you said that was already with the +2, Justin?
Yeah, I added it in.
And the same with Tom's.
Alrighty. So again, that one bites into Dalton. It is going to rush out, and it is going to try to claw into Gale twice.
But do they have reach? Or because I'm like the token behind.
Oh, I only moved them up into my bad. I constantly mistake the two of you. I think they're going to surround Jinx as they go for you. My bad. That was just because I moved them up to Jinx thinking that was you. It's not because they can't get to you.
Yeah, and I was just thinking like maybe they had long arms or
So,
something.
what did I roll here? I've got a rolled 5 on each of those. I don't think you have anything to worry about as far as shielding goes. As I have rolled 5s, you've kind of seen those are big ol' misses coming from that one. And you didn't go prone because you never got knocked out. Yeah, so you basically see as they kind of like swarm on Gale. 2 solid hits definitely does a solid bit of damage to you. 1. Oh yeah, and then the bite like completely whiffed Dalton. Definitely a solid like baning, as I feel like Bane always is a solid choice. But it is gonna go back to you as these two creatures are kind of like attacking wildly around this room. What would you like to do?
I think I'll start with Gale. Uh, Shocking grasping the one who's baned, so that he will hopefully won't get a reaction. I think.
Rolled 12. Oh yeah, that's just a roll to hit. That's not even a saving throw, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's just roll to hit.
Yeah, 19 rolled on the die is definitely a solid hit.
See, and that's 5. Was it lightning damage? And it can't take reaction until its next turn.
Jinx is just gonna say, "They're out here now," and he's gonna cast Vicious Mockery on the next one.
Rolled 7.
Nice. I'm not gonna mess with it.
Roll for the damage then.
It's 5 total. And disadvantage. And then I'll have Karina run out here, and she will do a stab on the Hex one also.
Gotcha. She can make that stab attack and then move past it and clear the space to give you guys extra space. Because if you try to get all 4 out here, the last person's gonna be struck. Well, realistically, you could like move Neff out to attack and then back. It's just kind of a weird situation.
I was just
Uh,
gonna firebomb over everybody's head with Neff because she's got the ranged attack.
I was saying to like avoid cover though, because the door sill is going to basically give cover to somebody being stuck inside.
Oh,
But
okay,
that
I got
18
you.
does hit, so roll her damage.
Man, I roll so
So
bad for her.
6.
So 4 plus a. Do I get a sneak attack or no?
I think that is one of their skills. If you look at the cut purse, I think that's specifically one of their attacks.
Yeah, they have like low blow. I think it's
Yeah. I think the signature attack includes the sneak attack of 1d6, kind of always being a part of it. That's why it does 2d6 piercing. And then they have those additional. But that's kind of what you're working with if you look at the cut purse. I'm almost positive that's what he said she was going to be. Because one of the things that I felt like I brought up was like you guys have like all cut purses.
Yeah, her abilities are like a couple different ones, but they're once per day. So I think the regular attack already has the 2d6 in it. So it's 2d6 plus 2, or has the 1d6 in it. So it's 2d6
Yeah,
plus 2.
yeah.
So it just would have been the first number plus 2. Ooh, and it's going to be a big miss for Neffy with or without cover.
Right, yeah.
And Dalton too.
anyone in need
Looks like
inspiration.
Tom too. I think technically Dalton already has inspiration. I'm gonna say you guys can't really like affect that, but you could potentially be more free with the use of the 2 inspiration you guys have as you're rolling for 6 characters.
Yeah, I have a feeling that won't be our last one.
So yeah, kind of swarming back around. We're gonna go for this is the non-hex one. It is gonna attack Dalton and Karina. Hmm, I don't think I can really get to Dalton. So it's gonna bite down on Gale and then slash at Karina. So the bite at Gale rolled 8. I think
Um,
you guys know that's
yeah, what's your armor normally? Is it 14?
15.
Oh, I feel like it's right on the edge. So just to be safe, I'm gonna Bardic in. Oh wait, can I minus this? Or wait, is that?
I mean, if you have cutting words, you can, right? Because it's an attack, right?
Yeah, you can't do the saves unless you're the a specific bard class. Gotcha. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that'll
like messed
definitely
that up so
miss.
many times. I was like, let me just look. So yes, cutting words for -4.
And then the claws are gonna go at Karina here. Rolled 10 and a rolled 14.
Yeah, and a cut purse has 13 AC.
Yeah, so you know at least one of those is gonna hit.
Yeah, it would be up to Dalton. So I'm gonna assume he does not mess with it for the NPCs.
And that would be their downfall. because they've been the best killers you guys have. Both of those are going to hit.
So Constitution saving throws.
My bad. No. I was just looking at something real quick. Uh, yeah. So this is going to grapple and restrain Karina as it claws into her, and it's gonna do 2d6 plus 6 for the 2 attacks total. So it's gonna do a total. Oh wait, 2 Constitution saving throws. Yes, because she's got to save against 2 effectively 6s. I don't think the cut purse has a plus to con, so I think you just need to roll both times over a 6.
A 12 and a 1.
Gotcha. So she'll take 1 wound and be down to 5. And she is now grappled and restrained. And then the other one is going to, what is that, Dalton and Gale? So it's going to bite into Gale. They go rolled 2. And then it's going to claw into Dalton. Ooh, a crit. The rolled 9 doesn't even matter. Like, whatever the like negative is, that's not going to be enough. That one's the -2. So yeah, rolled 7. And the crit's an auto hit. So it doesn't matter about Bane. So Dalton as well will be grappled and restrained, but he is going to take 2d6 plus 3. 7 slashing? Oh, I'm on Dalton's sheet. Duh. So you see as they like claw out at your friends here, that when they do finally get like hands on someone, that their claws not only like cut into and like pierce these people, but they are like actively like growing their bones almost like into each of these. And you can see as that like grappling motion is again restraining them as the bone kind of like grows through their flesh, and it's kind of holding them not necessarily helpless, but it's effectively rendering them more and more helpless by the moment kind of situation here. And I believe that's gonna put it back. Ooh, its first one was a disadvantage. That was technically a gale which missed, so that shouldn't matter, but it will bring it back to you guys here.
So Dalton's sword attack, while it wasn't as effective as it is against some creatures, it wasn't like less effective against these, where you should like not do it, right?
It's not doing the psychic damage that it could normally do.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I got you.
The baned creature that's holding Dalton is actually bloodied at this point.
So I think that Dalton is going to trying to think if he would try to break the grapple more or if he would just try to do the damage. And I think he would like count on us to like try to kill this thing. So I think he's gonna go for just the damage.
Gotcha. While restrained, his attacks are a disadvantage.
Oh no, so it's gonna be a one and we didn't use the inspiration. I could have used it on that attack. Oh. Okay, and then I will do another vicious mockery at it. And I'm just gonna say to the creature, "Oh, you don't want to eat him. He's dirty." Uh, and it's 15.
Wait, are you vicious
I
mocking Dalton?
It's got a rolled 8, so it is going to fail that, and it will take 4 damage.
4 damage straight to the face and disadvantage.
I think Gale will continue with shocking grasp, but fuck it. I'm gonna fish for a crit and give myself advantage.
On the Baned one, right?
On the Bane one, yeah. Just trying to get that
Excellent.
dead as quick as possible.
16 with any modifiers is going to be a hit.
So let's see. For a total of 9 damage.
Excellent. I think that's mains. So I think you could have Karina moving between the sides, and while she's like sharing the space with Jinx, attack the wounded one, and that would allow you guys to have everybody attacking that same like bloodied one. But she would basically like end next to Gale this time, and then next time she would come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that sounds good.
But wasn't Karina restrained though? She got
Oh,
attacked.
my bad. Yeah, Karina is actually both of them are restrained, so she has no movement, so she can only attack the one that's holding her. My bad.
Okay, and she's at disadvantage. So what about Neffy? Is there a way that I can either ranged attack from where she's at now, or do I need to move into one more space and then attack at disadvantage for a ranged attack?
I think that's the same thing where I feel like it's more inclined to say she can just make that attack a disadvantage to smash a bottle over its head like as a melee.
Damn, 14. So is that just a miss?
14 is indeed a miss.
See if Tom can. That is a 19 total.
19 is a hit.
Oh, and this is for the one holding Dalton.
So 7 damage.
Yep, 7 damage.
So Neffy's 14 just missing is part of where you've seen 17s hit. Do you want to use an inspiration to roll a d6 and try and manipulate it after the fact? On average, is why I say you've seen a 17 hit. Like on average, that should be a hit.
Also, like if I spend my inspiration to give her a plus to it, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because that's the other option is you can use inspiration to gain advantage ahead of time, or you can have a D6 after the fact. Yeah, so that is going to make it a hit. You've seen they're resistant to her poison, but it is extra damage, so yeah, so it'll take 3. And then I think the only thing is Karina then can make an attack at disadvantage versus the one that's grappling her, or she can try to break free again at disadvantage if she would like to do that.
So we'll try to break free with her. So the low is a 13.
And how is you can use acrobatics to get out of like grapples and things, right?
Yeah, so acrobatics. So what would that be? A +3? Her primary ability is dexterity, and then she has acrobatics. So what would that be a plus? How much? About a 16 to an
I
18.
think it's I think it's basically her plus to hit, so it's probably that +6.
Okay, so 19. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, often restrained actually has a strength escape DC, but it doesn't really say. Yeah, I think that'll break. She can break free with that.
But that will use up her attack. So I think that we're done.
Alrighty, so the one that just had Karina is going to. I think that is attack Gale and bite Neff. Oh wait, I have to look at the order of them. Bite Neff, attack Gale. So Nefrandel is the one person who's well out of reach. I probably should have switched off of a D6 a while ago. Let's see. Yeah, it was already going to go after her because it was already thinking it was about to apply this bite. It is going to try to bite Karina, and then it's going to claw Gale. Whoops, I did not mean to roll that. So the attack on Karina should hit. And she has, let's see, a con save of 15. I was feeling lucky. Very
Okay.
solid. So yeah, she saves against this bite as she's basically like breaking free and kind of like leaps out right as this thing almost like extends like these bone tubules like from its mouth and tries to bite into her. You are going to see the other one. Oh, wait, I have to still attack Gale with its claws. Both of those, I think you have a solid understanding, are probably gonna hit you there. Got a rolled 15 and a rolled 19. Do you want to do anything to the 15 from a bard?
Okay, so Gail, you're bloodied right now, right?
Yeah, I'm blooded.
All right, so I think I'm gonna use, or Dalton's gonna use a minus on the 15.
Gotcha. So you can roll that d8. I clicked it on his actual character sheet. So that'll put it at a 10. You will then know that shielding that can prevent you from getting hit.
Then I would do that.
And I'm going to, with Jinx, spend a second level spell slot to Silvery Barbs, the high one.
All right. Well, I didn't delete one of them, but I just rolled double 20s, so it's gonna still hit. But I take the low, so I still take the 19. Right? How Silvery Barbs works. I don't get the crit out of it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just burning 20s. That's right. I got rid of those 20s.
Those 20s that didn't yet exist. So yeah, it's going to claw into Gale. That will restrain and grapple Gale now. And it's gonna deal. Oh wait, just one, not two. The claws are 5 slashing damage to you, and then you are grappled and restrained.
So I'm mortally wounded by now.
Now, you guys are going to see is the other creature that had Dalton grappled and restrained is not trying to thrash out at anybody. It too is like growing out these like bone tubules from its mouth as it bites down into his neck. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't think that hits him. No. And you're just gonna see as the bone snaps off on a tiny little bit. Oh, he's got that sweet armor. Did I tell you guys don't have those yet? I feel like he doesn't have it applied. I don't think you guys have those yet. Yeah, it's just gonna like bite down and like you see as one of these bone tubules like gets caught up on like a stud of his leather and there's just a loud like snapping sound as it snaps off. It is going to fail with that attack, and it's going to go back around to you guys. But you kind of have a moment where you see these creatures that are like moving around and they're attacking randomly. They are like biting and slashing into everybody around them. The moment they get their claws into someone, all they think about is this like this bite, and you've seen them both extend these same kind of like tubes from their mouth to do it. So you can kind of guess that you don't want to be held by one of these creatures. The one that has Dalton is close to death. It was bloodied before last turn, but it's back to you guys to try to potentially save Dalton and also potentially save Gale because it seems like Gale's pretty fucked up. What would you like to do?
So does the second one still have Karina or no right now? She got free, so she didn't get grabbed again?
She's free, yep, but it does now have Gale.
Oh, it has a hold of Gale now, though. And he's mortally wounded, and we know that when it has a hold of somebody, it's gonna like just attack that person.
Yep, yep. You can basically assume that if it still has Gale by next turn, it's going to try to do that same bite attack that it just did to Dalton. Or that the other one just did to Dalton. You want to lead off with Dalton attacking it at least?
So yeah, I think what we're gonna have Dalton do is he's pretty messed up right now, or at least kind of messed up. I think he's gonna use his inspiration to go just a flat roll because normally it would be disadvantage, and try to do a what's the wounds one where he like grabs onto him and
Inflict wounds,
yeah,
3d10.
inflict wounds. I feel like that's usually his like big go-to.
God, it seems insane to imagine that he could miss while he is being held and like pierced through by a creature. But use his inspiration for a straight attack. He's got a rolled 16 or rolled 14 with +7. He's a 21 to hit. That will hit. So 3d10 necrotic here. This creature has 16 hit points. Average, I believe that's a kill.
Oh, thank
Solid.
God
But
for the
one
10.
hit point.
It's a 2, a 5, and a 10, and, like, the 2 and the 5 landed first, and I was like, "That's terrible," and then the 10, like, slowly just stopped on it.
What is it? Oh, the average actually is 556 or like 566. So 12, 17. Yeah, 17's the average. Okay. 16 or 17. So yeah, that one you're going to watch as Dalton like struggling through this like attack, places his hands on this thing and just like rots the remains of the actual flesh and muscle away. And as he inflicts wounds, this thing's just gonna crumble around him. He's not like super fucked up. He's at 30 or 40 hit points, but he's still like pierced through by where this thing like grew bones through him. It's a pretty vicious kind of attack that these things do. So that one at least is passed on. It is post tense.
Um, Gail, I don't suppose you got a bright plan to get out of that thing's hands before I do something stupid.
Oh, I do not. Oh, who did you give advantage to with the silvery barbs?
I'll give it to you so you can potentially advantage and try to break free or do whatever you're gonna do. Shock it, whatever you're gonna do.
Yeah.
I think it's specifically on an attack roll, though. I don't think it's for, I guess I don't think it's for breaking yourself free.
So you got to make up the decision here, Gail, because the truth is, if you don't break free from that thing, it's going to attack you like 3 times. I can't out heal what it's about to do to you. So, and it's not even really damage. So you got to figure out what the hell you want to try to do. I think that you should potentially think about serving your self interest and self preservation.
You've seen that it doesn't attack you 3 times. It's going to try to bite you, but it does do a special bite attack. And Silvery Barbs gives you advantage on the next attack roll, ability check, or saving throw that you make. So you don't even have like a choice to use it or not. It's just the next in a minute. It's actually kind of cool. I didn't realize. I thought it was just attack roll.
The thing is, like, even if I get out, I've seen how it attacks normally. I feel like I might just get knocked out either way. I am afraid of that special attack.
I've rolled a lot of threes as far as its targeting goes. That's kind of random how often you've been attacked.
Yeah, I feel like another self-preservation is in order, and he's gonna try to get out.
Gotcha. So I do think that's an ability check. So just give me a straight roll on acrobatics or athletics. DC 14, I think, is the breakout. Yeah, 14 escape DC.
Okay, yeah, that's 17 acrobatics.
Very nice. So yeah, you can kind of slip out again, like in the same kind of form where it's like already like growing out these like bone tubules to bite into your flesh. That is your action. Do you have any bonus? Otherwise, it's on to like everybody else. Like you guys effectively have Dalton and Gale use.
Sadly, I do not have any bonus actions, basically.
I feel like that's pretty wizardly.
I think Tom, just to make some room, is gonna move up like north of it.
Gotcha.
Don't think 12 will hit even with flanking.
No, no, 14 is a miss.
So I'm gonna go for my action, and I'm gonna do the awesome insult. Vicious mockery. God, I hate
The
these bard
awesome
names.
insults.
I can never think of them. They're always like right on the tip of my tongue. They all sound the same. Like they're just horrible. Vicious mockery him. With my cantrip action, and then it's probably not going to do much, but I'm going to do bonus action, and I'm gonna heal Gale also.
Roll the damage on the vicious mockery. I don't even know what it's at. That's a wisdom 15. I didn't even look at its stat block. I'm like, a rolled 11. That's shit. Or wait, is it charisma?
No, it's wisdom 15.
Gotcha. It's still a fail. What'd you roll?
5 total damage plus 1 disadvantage point. And then because I'm using my bonus action, it has to be a healing word that I do on Gale, and it's going to be.
I mean, this is where I get to the point of like reminding you, like, you've seen how much damage these things can do. I don't know if a healing word is like something that's gonna affect his life one hit to the next.
Yeah, I don't have a low level spell slot left either, so nix the healing word. I'm not actually going to heal you. Sorry, Gale.
I mean, that's perfectly fine.
So Jinx will like reach out like he's about to heal you with his action, and then he's gonna say, "Running low. It's the thought that counts." And then I will use my bonus action. Yeah, so that's it for me. I'm done.
With a short rest, though, you could have gained back your bardic inspirations. Do you want to inspire anybody? That's something you could use your bonus action on, but
Oh yeah, I did reset my bardic inspiration. So I'll spend. This will be my third one. So I'll have one left after this, and I'm gonna give it to Gale to finish this thing off.
can't quite heal you. But you're doing a great job, and you're probably going to be able to kill this one.
And then Neffy's gonna go for a fire bomb and gets a nat 20. I mean poison bomb.
Gotcha. Just roll the normal damage, and I won't have it. I guess you could roll twice, and I'll still have it. It's up to you.
So what is it? 12
Oh,
plus
wait, crit
5
would do the
divided by 2?
max plus the damage dice. Yeah, yeah. So it's 12 plus the 5, 17, and then halved is 8.
I mean, that's still pretty good for it having resistance. So good job, Neffy. And then I think that's all my stuff.
I feel like Karina has Tom attacked. I feel like Karina has not attacked. Because that's normally Dalton's.
Yeah, Karina's left. Tom missed with his 12 to hit.
And
Yeah,
looks like
Karina got
Karina's
cute.
going to join. All right. So same thing. I rolled for Neffy, which is gonna bite into Gale, and then I think the 4 is Tom. So yeah, this is pretty much the same thing that kind of happened with Karina, um, where it's like trying to like go to bite into Gale as he escapes. It claws out in kind of a rage, but we're gonna go for a bite attack against Gale. 15 to hit. This is where shield if you've got it, if you want to avoid getting bit.
Oh, I got it, so I'm using it. Shield.
Gotcha. So it has a 20 to hit you. Oh wait, you have
Oh,
15 AC. My
yeah,
bad.
and it hits.
Shield does not do it. I just revealed its plus. Damn, did I do that last turn? No, last turn it went down to a 10. It would have been a 15. So had you not shielded, that's what it was. I got psyched out last turn because of the negative and then the plus and then the my bad. So don't use that shield. It has a 20 to hit you. Now you guys kind of have a sense of its modifier, like that it's a medium attacker kind of thing. And this is going to do a d6 plus 3 and 2d8. As it bites into you, damn, that's like really high damage. For 9 piercing and 11 poison damage. I assume Gale did not have 20 hit points laying around right there.
No, he did not. He's knocked out.
So Gale goes unconscious. Oh, wait, that attack had disadvantage. Oh, 15 and an 8. The 8 is a 13 to hit you. That's a miss. My bad. I'm bad about vicious mockery. So Gale is not attacked. The bite had disadvantage, but these 2 attacks on Tom are just straight. Tom has 13 AC, so I think you guys can recognize the 9. The lower of those 2 is a hit. But you guys have been treating them like second class citizens. Do you want to modify it with Dalton or with Jinx?
I don't even know who that is. I've never heard of Tom before, so Jinx just like accidentally like kind of looks away as it just attacks him.
Gotcha. Dalton has 3 bardic inspirations if you guys want to jump in with him while you have control. But for now, let me have each of you roll 1 saving throw as it tries to claw into him. You need to get a 6 or higher. So I saw Gale's. What was Jinx? What did you roll?
14 for the one I roll.
Gotcha. So yeah, both of those he won't take the actual damage from, but he is grappled and restrained as he gets clawed.
And with the way we're treating our partners, I'm kind of surprised they still go out with us.
You guys have to pay them well, otherwise they definitely shouldn't let you guys treat them like this. You should treat them as equal parts of your group. You better bet though that Tom will 100% be telling Bob, and Bob is definitely against you guys treating her like shit. But it is back to you guys as this thing grapples into Tom. You see as it starts to grow the bones like through his body. Tom is restrained.
So Jinx is gonna yell, Tom, don't you let that thing put its bone inside you. You'll never live it down. And I'll vicious mocker the creature, not Tom. Oh wait, I don't roll. You roll. Sorry.
Wait, yeah. And
Yeah.
why did you roll a d12? Like the least used die ever.
Oh no, I rolled a 20 and it went on 12.
No, that was definitely a d12.
Oh yeah, you're
I
right.
saw
I don't
the
know why.
5 sides. Yeah. um, he rolled a 16. And you said it's a wisdom? Yeah, he'll save that.
Yeah, it's 15.
How about from Gale or Dalton?
Gale will continue with his shocking grasp. Let's see.
Solid shocking grasp.
For an 8 and a 1 for a total of 9 lightning damage.
All right, and then Neffy missed, and then Karina got a nat 1. So we'll give the inspiration to Dalton, because that's his sidekick, maybe?
I don't think I used Dalton's inspiration, so it can go to one of you guys.
All right, you want to go?
I'll gladly take it.
It's kind of what I was getting at. You guys can use Dalton, but technically I'm not going to like allow you to use his inspiration. He's just inspired for next session kind of thing.
Okay, and then did you do Tom already?
No, I haven't. He is gonna try to get out of the restraint. But what was it? Could you use acrobatics for that, or was it just a straight strength check?
I've been letting you do acrobatics. I think he'll have a +6. So you need to roll an 8 or higher.
That's a 12 for a total of 18.
And that's it for you guys. That was everyone.
Did Karina? Yeah, Karina attacked, right, the nat one. I think we're done, right?
Oh, yeah, that was everybody, because I did both the others.
Oh, wait, did Dalton attack?
Oh, yep, that's who we're missing, Dalton.
Rolled 16.
What's he going to do? Sword attack there?
Yeah.
Rolled 16 will be a hit. He's got a +4 modifier and roll a d10.
4 damage.
Oh wait, and a d6 because he has sneak attack. So 4 plus a d6.
1. But wait, I'm not sure. Just trying to think. Isn't sneak attack just on finesse weapons? Or is that a finesse weapon?
Oh, maybe that's why it doesn't add the sneak attack on D&D Beyond. That's correct.
Yeah, I think he has to use the razor to get the sneak attack.
That's right. Yeah, that's why he used the razor. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the razor is probably worth doing because I think it's 2d4 damage and it's +7 to hit and +3 damage. Yeah, I feel like the razor is probably. Why does he carry the longsword? Is there a reason? I feel like he's ready to get rid of the longsword effectively.
I think the longsword's pretty good against some stuff, but not really chaos. So that's where the razor really shines.
Right, like if it can apply its psychic damage is pretty much why. But I think the sneak attack goes pretty far to mitigate that anyways. Because it's a D10 with no modifier, a D10 plus one, or a D8 plus one, but a D10 plus one and no sneak attack, but potentially 2d6 of psychic. So a D10 plus one plus 2d6 psychic. What is that? 17 maximum damage? I think the razor gets pretty close to there. But the razor is a D4 plus 3. And then he also has the potential for a d6 from sneak attack. So it can do, what is that? 13 damage. It definitely competes. But yeah, so uh, miss with the sword. I think in the future you could do the razor. It's definitely reduced damage to use the razor. But no sneak attack on the sword. Good catch there. Definitely far more used to using a rogue than I am, Chris. And I think that swirls back around to it. I've got it rolled to attack Neffy and I believe Gale. Each of those are kind of out of its range. So it's gonna go for.
Do you ever just feel like you're invisible?
Well, part of what I was getting at is like these things don't have eyes. Like they're targeting you guys based on like something else kind of thing. That was part of why I was trying to like build up like the weirdness of like there's a skull plate that's like grown down and it just has like a mouth and a jaw kind of coming from this area. I think
Yeah, I definitely feel like they caught Gale's scent like right at the beginning because he like pops in, like does like a spell, and then like runs away, and then they both come running out and we're like focused on him. And I don't know if it was intentional or whatever, but the tokens make me think of aliens, like in the movie Aliens.
yeah, they were a pretty cool creature. I feel like they might be from the Halo series. They called, I think, Revenant Thralls. They definitely have like an alien look to them, but a very humanoid skull still. Man, they don't even have like a push and like throw somebody out of the way how you guys are situated there. I think they're just gonna attack Jinx and Karina. I'm actually tempted just to put one attack. Yeah, if I do it, I'm gonna have one bite down into. It's gonna try to bite Tom, and then I'm gonna have a claw. Yeah, Jinx and Karina, and it's gonna split up the three ways here. So this is gonna be. Oh, it did not gain a disadvantage there. So this is just straight against Tom. Solid hit for the bite, and it's going to deal. Oh wait, this is just a save from Tom. Roll a 15 or better from Tom versus 3 wounds. So Tom's going to lose 3 wounds. I think he should be at half there. And then this will be at Jinx. Rolled 1. And then this is going to be at Karina. That should hit her. And it will be a claw attack. I
Oh,
need
you,
a rolled.
let me just. They are apart. Just can Dalton do cunning words as well? If
He can indeed.
yeah, I feel like it would help Karina at least.
Save her from getting this one.
Yeah.
Roll a d8 for me there, Chris. Use that compassion to make this a miss. Solid. Yep, that's going to make it a miss for sure. Yeah, so definitely thrashing about. This one doesn't, it's not like severely wounded. But it's definitely one of those things. You guys are pushing towards the upper hand on this thing. You're getting close to where you expect this one to start to really show those like bloodied signs of it being at half health. But otherwise, at present, it has nobody held. You were able to prevent it from getting its bones into anyone. What would you like to do?
Gale would like to shoot the firebolt at its face.
Firebolt that face. And a solid hit it will be. Let's see, at 20. 14.
But I mean, I have to roll max damage for 20 damage.
This is all I ever think with cantrips, though, is how sweet it is when you grab up that max damage. How about an attack from Dalton? What would Jinx like to do?
Jinx is going to warn this thing that we're about to go Nova. Get ready for your demise as we unleash hell upon you, or the holy light upon you. And I'll hit him with a vicious mockery.
I want to say it has no effect, but I also have to roll. That's gonna hit it for 6.
That is 6 damage straight to the face. And then getting all revved up off that one, Neffy is going to throw a potion at it too. And rolls a 2.
I mean, after those inspiring words, that tracks.
Neffy like hits me with the potion. I'm like, I'm on your side, you know. And then Karina, go for a stabby stab. Somebody's inspired around this place. Thank you.
So she'll do, what is it, 14 plus 2d6?
So 17 total. That's still really good.
I mean, she still has +2, right? So that's 19, right?
No,
14
no,
plus.
I
The
added
two's already added. It was 12 plus 2 plus 3.
Oh, okay.
So, Chris, if you would do us the honors of rolling for both Tom and then a attack from Dalton as well.
Yeah, start with Dalton. Uh, go for the bloody racer this time. And not a good look. That's a roll 3
Not gonna do it.
and a rolled 8 for Tom. Damn it.
So Tom has a +6 though. Its AC is 16. That is right at its AC to hit. Because Tom still has flanking with Karina.
All right, forgot about that.
So 2d6 plus 2 for another 9. This creature is going to be bloodied as you guys kind of cut into it on this turn. And I think it's not too much to say that you guys did probably about twice as much damage as you had done before. So you've like doubled the damage that it had taken, and it hit bloodied like early on in your attacks against this thing. So it is not only bloodied at this point, but you've probably gotten it near death, though it is not yet mortally wounded. That's gonna bring it around to its turn. There is no sense of like preserving its life in this creature. it is going to continue to just kind of lash out. It is looking to attack Dalton and Gale. So I'm gonna go for this is where oh wait, what's going on there?
Oh, I don't know if you want to like. I know you said it was a large creature. If you wanted to like push me out of the way or something.
No, I was just the moment they had a large creature in a 9 by 9 or in a 15 by 15 room, there was already issues. Like I don't know if I didn't pay attention and the map is meant to be 10-foot squares. It could have been that simple, but in the long run, no, I just went for these things are not large because of that. This is where though, like last turn I said like there's not even like a good like grapple and like throw kind of maneuver because that's what I was kind of considering with you in the way that it would almost like try to move you with a grapple to get to Gale. So I think I'm gonna bite into Dalton. Whoops, why not? I click the reroll instead of clear. So bite into Dalton. A rolled 13. So he could vicious mockery to save himself. He knows that he needs about a 3 here. I think you guys have a pretty solid understanding that this thing has an 18 to hit him right now.
Oh, is he bloodied right now?
He's still doing pretty good. He is above bloodied. He's at 3/4.
Okay, I was gonna say if he's bloodied for sure we should do it. Otherwise, what do you think, Kev?
I feel like you guys have enough bloodied friendlies that that's where the vicious mockeries need to be kind of saved. Right now, I think Gale and Tom are probably the most important ones to not let get hit.
Yeah, I only have one left, and I have very limited high level spell slots, so I'm
And
going
he
to
has two. Gotcha. So that will hit Dalton with a bite as I roll damn near max damage again. So it's gonna do 14 poison and 4 piercing. That is going to take him into the bloodied condition. It is going to then try to grapple. Yeah, I'm just gonna single claw attack Jinx. And this is a grapple push attack. So you can contest this with acrobatics or with athletics.
Get your bony little fingers away from me. So it's 25.
I, oh, it's a book. My bad. My bad. Uh 25. That is some bullshit. So it's gonna try to grapple push you. When it fails, it is going to just do a claw attack. 20 to hit you. It will, hit. I don't think you can
Oh
reduce
no, no,
that low enough,
yeah, yeah.
but you could if you wanted.
No, I'm good letting this go through. Yeah.
And it'll be for 5 piercing damage or 5 slashing damage, and then you are grappled and restrained. So this will then get around to you guys. You can see again, kind of that same idea. It's like starting to grow out those like bone tubes as it like prepares to bite into Jinx. What would you all like to do to kill this thing?
Gale
I would
here.
like to hurl insults at it.
Gotcha. You gonna roll another firebolt from Gale?
Yep.
It will take the damage from vicious mockery.
4
It
damage.
looks like a total of, oh, it was a 16 to hit will hit from the die. So 4 damage plus another 13, 17. That's the kill stroke right there, bam. So theoretically, everybody else using, cantrip level replenishing attacks, you guys bring it down before it is able to bite into Jinx, kind of making that final sacrifice of his own body. You guys can bring this one low as their flesh kind of stops moving and they're no longer attacking. What kind of thoughts do you all have?
Just immediately after this, Gail's gonna listen. Does it sound like anyone is like moving inside the apartment? Like what we can hear? Like if anyone's coming towards us or anything like that?
I didn't actually do a turn tracker.
Well, you know for a fact that that was at least 10 rounds of combat because I said that combat never goes more than 10 rounds. So the universe will immediately upset that. So I would guess that that was 11
I
rounds.
think that was actually only about 24 or 30 seconds. I don't think that might have been just over 30 seconds. That might have been 6 rounds right there. Um, but roll a perception, Gale, as you basically down these things. And the first thing that you guys kind of hear is like Gale kind of like quieting everybody and just trying to gain like a stillness of the air to kind of feel out. What is the modified of that 13?
That is a total of 16.
16? Yeah, I think kind of first moment, house seems pretty still. You don't hear any footsteps from upstairs. You don't hear any creaking from any of these immediate like doors right around you, like the 3 remaining doors. Don't feel like there's any sounds coming from down the hallway. It seems like this place is empty.
Look, I don't know what those things were, and I don't know what our plan is or what our plan was, but we're here now, and we got to break for a second. Want me to cast the hut in the corner? I mean, I won't be able to do anything once I cast it. I can't leave, but we'll have it if we need it.
We could do it in the room where they were. Because there's only one door there.
I mean, but that pretty much halts whatever we're doing. If we decide that's it. I mean, we can rest here, but we could just as easily turn around and go home if we wanted to. So I don't know how much purpose it serves, but
Yeah, well, I find it kind of weird. We went here to infiltrate a meeting. No one's here. Open the door and there's weird creatures attacking us. Fight them off. Doesn't seem like anyone's coming to find whatever commotion we made. Think they knew we were coming? Set up a trap?
I mean, I don't know. What were those things doing when you opened the door, Dalton? Like, were they like searching the place or were they just in there wrecking shit?
I think he probably would have sort of, given it like a cursory listen that they weren't like just inside of that room, like wrecking shit. When he first opened the door, he would have seen them at least kind of silhouetted in the light that scatters inside. They weren't just like, they weren't necessarily in motion, almost like they were just kind of held there or were holding there or watching from there. This is kind of like the entry door, but I think that's kind of what he's got is they just seem to be kind of waiting at the ready in that room.
I don't know. It's super weird. I feel like time is of the essence. We don't have time to be spending like hours of leaving and coming back. I think we have to push on, but should probably do some kind of healing or something first.
Take care of the worst and push through and see what we find.
I mean, I don't want to point any fingers, but a lot of you guys, and Jinx will literally point his finger at like everybody who's fucked up, and he'll say, "A lot of you guys don't look so good. I'm not sure you'd survive another one of those."
I mean, worst come to worst, I have saved a high level magic for emergency. Might be some collateral.
All right, we'll save the important stuff for if something important happens, but I'm gonna use the rest of the staff, and I hate to do it, but all right. So it is a total of 12 points for everyone. 3d8 plus 4.
For the whole group.
It
Like
is
you can apply
6.
that to up to 6 targets.
Yeah, 6 maximum targets for that amount.
Gotcha. So I think Tom only lost 3 hit points, like only 3 wounds, and Karina lost 1. So I think both of them can be up to their full 6. And Dalton will take, you said 12.
Yes, 12. That's right.
So Dalton's right up back to a little over half, little past the bloodied, unbloodied.
All right. And then also, that is the first time I have used all of the charges. So, oh, at dawn. But do you want me to roll it right now just so I don't forget? It says at dawn. If
Um,
you expend the last charge, roll a d20. On a 1, it's gone. So I can roll it or I can wait, but regardless, I don't want to forget.
yeah, I'd say wait just because it says at dawn, just so we don't do it again.
Okay, as long as we just all remember that I have to roll it, which I will. I'll see all this. The charges are depleted. So okay, so yeah, that was it. I used that up. And do you guys want to take just a short little break here?
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a good chance too. So yeah, like take 5 minutes. If everybody's back, we'll get started when everybody's back. All right, my bad there. It was definitely my fault on the map. It was supposed to be a 10 foot per square, so I made the map a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I'm back. I haven't heard Chris yet.
Oh, he was the first person back.
Oh shit, I didn't even hear either of you guys yet.
I didn't actually step away, but I think he's back.
Yeah, I'm back. Just drinking, so I couldn't answer.
So, I think other than just kind of like taking a moment to listen and confirm that, like at present, it seems like this place is calm and isn't really reacting to you guys having a fray here. I don't think you've really planned out necessarily what to do. You've done a little bit of healing to staunch some wounds, but like where your next step is kind of where we're at here.
I guess the obvious choice is we just start opening some of these other doors, right?
Yeah. I mean, should we take Gale will, like go to the door closest to him, start opening.
On three.
Let me have you guys roll an intelligence for me, actually.
That's well, 10 with modifiers.
Gotcha. So at very least, yeah, and Jinx, yours is over 10 with modifiers, I assume.
Whoa, whoa,
Oh, because
whoa!
I
Let's not
said
start assuming
intelligence.
stuff.
My bad. Because I said intelligence, it's not necessarily jack of all trades. Um, so, but yeah, I'll put it at like there's at least a little bit of a recollection from like Gale. I don't think you went into the room, but when you guys initially encountered these things, the room's pretty like messed up inside there. But Gale at least would have kind of like recalled slash recognized. He's pretty sure there's also a hole in the wall to one of the rooms that's like north on the northern side. So like this northeastern door, there's a hole into the room that you guys could potentially, like look into and or make an entrance, like egress into that room via the hole if you wanted to avoid that door. But it is something that you could potentially investigate also, like basically without like simply opening a door. I just wanted to kind of put that out there because you had like a very quick understanding of what's in that room before you're like fighting for your lives.
So you're saying that there was a break between the open door, like the big room that we have already, the square one on the right, that would potentially lead into the door that's to our right now, that same room, without having to open the door, is what you're saying?
Yeah, kind of where I just drew that spiral. There's basically a hole in in the door, or not necessarily in the door. There's like a hole in the wall.
So if I just like assume that Gail like kind of like brings that up or whatever, right before we're about to open the door, I think my impression would be not sure that knowing that there's a hole in that door really makes much of a difference, but I don't know. You think those things were in here? You think we opened another door? There could be some more of them? I mean, was it a trap or were they just randomly in?
I mean, if it was a trap, then maybe there's others behind every door. Or if there is a meeting here, then maybe they are security in case someone comes who isn't supposed to be here.
I mean, if they busted through that wall, they probably weren't supposed to be in that room. So maybe we could follow that path they came through and see where it leads.
Is that as well? Yeah. Yeah, we could do that.
I mean, I don't know what they are, why they're here, or where the hell it would lead us to, but I guess we could give it a shot, right? I mean, so I have no idea if this is the smart move, if it makes any sense, but I feel like in a chaos cult, making chaotic decisions, might as well just go down this thing's hole or whatever.
So I mean, you can at least investigate through it. But like when you go into that room and like take a look on the inside, you can basically see through that hole that there's another like 20 by 30-foot room. Everything in it is kind of thrashed and destroyed, but there is a door to the east in that room, as well as you can see in kind of like the northwestern corner. Again, this is before you enter into it. If you see on that northwestern corner that there are these large, they almost kind of like have a opaque kind of grayish white kind of look to them. Like there's like almost dusty kind of like shattered fragments of these things. They're large wrappings of sorts, perhaps. But from far away, it's a little harder to figure out. But the closer you get to it, the more you can see that this is some sort of like almost nested area with these large grayish white, like centerpieces of it. And the closer you get, the more you can kind of identify something was cocooned inside of these things. And you can kind of start to realize that perhaps those creatures were once cocooned inside of these large, wood like, crunchy, like it's not really chitin in the same way as their bones, but it definitely has kind of like a very light feel to it with a lot of strength, though it's still rigid and kind of snappy kind of tendency to this materia.
So what are y'all thinking? Those were like hatched? What the hell were those things? Anybody seen anything like that before? So the cult was like growing some kind of creatures in here to like protect it, or unleash on the world. Or...
Put it past them, and that seems right up their alley.
Hear me out. This might sound crazy, but trying to understand a chaos cult probably not the best idea.
Fast forward, see if we find anything else.
All right, so Jinx will try to open that door.
Gotcha. That eastern door doesn't really cover anything. There's a small room behind. Seems like maybe it was some sort of storage area. But by and large, there's not really much to it, and it just seems like another. I don't know. If it was a bathroom, it's trashed as well. If it's a walk-in closet, it's trashed. But basically, it's just another random room that's trashed.
All right, well, now we have the closure, know where those things came from, and obviously what they are and why they were here. Shall we move on to the original plan?
I'm not sure if we know all of those, but yeah, could move back.
Get ready for two more of those things. And then Jinx will open the door.
Gotcha. So pretty similar room here. You can see there's a lot of like trashed things inside of this room. There is another door on its western side, giving you a sense of this is like a mirror of what you just like looked in on. There is a hole in the wall on the northeastern side as well as the southeastern side. So you can kind of get through both of this north or south to the apartments, kind of to the south or the north of it. There is another kind of gray nest straight ahead, and you can see what looks like kind of like a female humanoid arm kind of sticking up out of the nest. It is non moving and I think kind of colorless. I think it's safe to say, like, pretty sure a dead body kind of goes a little bit gray when blood stops pumping. At very least, when there's no like oxygen in the blood, probably have a good sense that there's a dead woman inside of this cocoon.
I think Gale would go to the dead woman in the cocoon and look. He's kind of curious here. Does he find like any of those uh, rings that the Brotherhood of Venom uses on corpse?
Roll an investigation for me.
So that is a 17 total.
17 total. Um, when you are going through and kind of like looking, you don't find anything like that, but you do start to notice kind of movement inside of the nest. I'd like you to roll initiative for me, please. Chris, Gail.
That is a dirty 20.
Gotcha. So as you're kind of like going through here, and like looking for the rings that you just don't find any of, from the signs that you can find, this is like a non-cultist. You start to like feel kind of like the movement of this nest, and you almost like react a little bit quicker, but kind of gain a sense that there's like these red and black insectoids inside of there, and they're like already kind of snapping at you as if you're their next meal. What would you like to do?
Yeah, I think just like gut reaction, firebolt it. Just the entire nest.
Gotcha. So at present, you're technically like in base contact in melee combat, so that would be at disadvantage.
Oh, then could I? Because I want to do it with fire. Yeah, can I do just shock and grasp instead, and use my like thingy
Gotcha.
to
Do a
twitch it?
fire grasp.
Yeah, 16 to hit. That's almost a nat 20.
Solid hit. They're tiny little beetles kind of coming out of it.
You totally like slow rolled off the 20, Chris.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was definitely thinking about it. For what was that? 13?
yeah, 13 fire damage.
Um, am I crazy here? What the fuck was I looking at? My 3 hit points. That's not nearly enough. Gotcha. So like as you start to like burn away these creatures, there's a bunch of them like kind of swarming out of it. But you definitely do fry quite a few of them as you kind of light your hands on fire. A little bit more effort. If you had like anybody who was useful in your group besides people who use cutting words, you could probably or vicious mockery, you could probably successfully kill these things. Oh, you're surrounded by bards. Good luck, Chris. Sorry, that was an invitation to do anything that you would like from a bard's perspective. But they are already well wounded.
Where are the actual creatures at relative to us? Are they like right in between me and Chris, like above us?
More or less, the nest is like right above him, so it's kind of taking, maybe not like the full space, but a good chunk of the space to his north.
So Jinx is gonna look over at Chris and he's gonna say, "I've got just all right, Gail." And he's gonna say, "I've got just the tool for the job. You're not supposed to use these things indoor, but I'm a rule breaker." And I'm gonna pull out my boomerang and I'm gonna throw it at the nest.
Gotcha. Make that attack roll.
Nice, crushed it.
Sounds good.
23.
Roll for damage.
7 damage. And full on knowing that there's a 0% chance the boomerang returns to my hand, Jinx will just stand there with his hand out like he's expecting it to come back.
Don't leave me hanging. Uh, yeah, so Gail, you said you did 13, 7 more there. These things are definitely, you're killing off more and more beetles. There's probably a lot of like this weird beetle juice all over your boomerang. Does somebody want to make an attack with the Daltonator?
I'll go pick up my boomerang.
Was thinking, what could Dalton do? Just attack.
He like pulls out the razor and he's just slitting all these tiny little beetles' throats like one after another.
He could definitely slit some beetle throat. He's got vicious mockery. He could attack with his sword, could attack with the razor. Um, he could do a. I don't think like spell work is really what you guys should be using here, but he could weave a spell as well.
I mean, technically, he has the wand of fireballs as well, right? Was it a circlet?
He's got the wand of fireballs, but like I said, like you guys have done quite a bit to already kill these things.
Yeah, I
Like
see.
Chris, had you not had two bards as your backup, my point is like any normal character assisting you there should be able to kill this off.
Yeah,
Whoa. What are you trying to say? That was like max damage on my boomerang attack.
And it didn't kill it off. It got close, but it didn't kill it off.
Look, man, I'm not the one who writes the rules for boomerangs. I also think they're underpowered.
yes, Dalton was.
If it were a fighter throwing two boomerangs, it probably could have gotten the kill.
Dalton coming in with the razor. Let's see. That's a rolled 5.
His modifier with the razor is a +7, I think. Oh, you don't have the numbers in front of you. I have to look it up. Yeah, 12 hits. 12 just hits. These things have an AC of 12. So what is it? A D4 +3? Yeah, it's an auto kill. It needs 2 damage, so
I rolled max.
and see, even with max damage, Dalton couldn't have killed it alone. He also would have needed somebody else to help him. Yeah, so you guys kind of slash down, burn away these bugs, but it seems like whatever these things are made of, they also kind of bring these other creatures. And these are not like bugs and insects that you would like expect to see in Tolus. They're like red and black. They seem to have like odd like stingers on them, almost like scorpion like stingers on like beetle like arms. All around these things do not seem like of this world. It's whatever this thing is seems to maybe even be manipulating like insects to where they change into something else, or perhaps these are creatures somehow like brought into like this world via something else. But these insects themselves that come out of these nests are some sort of stinging weird insect. But you've kind of dealt with them. You've got a dead woman inside of there, a room to the west, and two kind of holes in the wall on both the northern and southern side of that wall.
So what, they just sort of like throw the body here and then just the insects feed off of it? And then once they're grown or whatever, what the hell do they do? What's going on in this place? Sort of like alien bug nursery.
I mean, it might just be a way for them to shore up minions for their night of dissolution.
It could be. Maybe they eat them. High in protein. They multiply quickly. Inexpensive, likely. I mean, your idea makes more sense, but let's not rule mine out.
I mean, every theory is valid until proven otherwise.
I mean, I'm not going to try the bug goo, but I think it's still a possibility. I don't know what cultists are into, but I'm still having trouble distinguishing like the difference between like chaos and like evil, or like good and order. You know what I mean? I feel like I've always kind of blurred them together. So the whole idea of these things being like chaotic but not demonic, kind of weird. So what are we thinking here? Another door?
Yeah, we could check the door and then check the holes. See? Is anything we see through them?
Could just burn this whole place down. I mean,
I mean, I won't say I'm against it, but might have some trouble with the guards trying to explain why we started a fire. And we're in Old Town, right?
sure, we'll just grab a couple of these dead bug creature things, maybe one of those big ones, drag it out on the street, and when they come asking questions, why Dalton went fireball crazy and burnt the shit out of this place, we'll just show them the dead creature bug thing. I mean, they'll probably give us a medal or something, right?
Unless, of course, the fire spreads from one building to another.
Whatever, Gale, just embrace the chaos. No, Jinx will start walking into that room.
You are indeed in Old Town. You surely do understand also. The guards probably wouldn't be too stoked about a fire happening here because these are some of the wealthiest people in the city. And you also know that the four apartment buildings in this district, at least, are all close together, besides that there's other close by buildings as well.
So are we going through like the bug hole, or are we doing the door?
I mean, I feel like the door first, then we can explore the holes.
Gotcha. The door confirms the thought, like that these might be mirror rooms. And when you open the door, you can basically see again a pretty similar situation where there's just a doored off room there. It kind of confirms like it's another like closet or whatever. Similar situation where it's thrashed and destroyed. Either of the holes in the wall, you can find similar information where you're kind of like just like looking from this side, you can basically see that you're looking at a wall straight ahead of you about 10 feet. And anywhere to the east, they both seem to be open. So looking through the north, your right side seems to be open on that side. And looking through the south, your left side seems to be open on that side. But basically, you're almost like looking at a wall. Like maybe you're staring down a hallway, but it seems to open up. It's wider along those eastern sides.
When Gail says we can explore the holes, Jinx giggles like a child.
Oh, let's go for the south one first. Or you have any objections?
Oh, no, no, that's fine. I would have said front or back, but and then we can go to the south one.
So, investigating around in this area, you all basically find a pretty similar situation where there is a western kind of alcove that has one of these nests in it. Otherwise, aside from that, like presence, just seems to be another thrashed and destroyed room. There's nothing necessarily to investigate like beyond if you got close enough to risk more of these insects. They're not too much of a threat if you guys band together. But like if there's just one of you, they can be a good deal more of a threat. So that's really the only thing. You now are aware that like these thrashed up nests probably have these like scorpion like centipede like beetles in them.
And like we get the impression that both the big creatures and these little creatures are like insectoid in nature.
Like the chitin of the big creatures, like the bone like protrusions, are of a similar but much more dense materia than these things. And the alien nature of the bugs coming out of these things are something else. So I don't think it's necessarily that the bugs are coming from this, but something about them are out of place. But the big creatures, you have a solid sense of recognizing that the big creatures come from these things because they're kind of like these are almost like air puffed, like what the big creatures are made of. If that kind of makes sense. You know how like volcanic rock has like no weight to it because it has no density? This like cocoon materia is like that. It looks almost like bone or wood, but like when you pick it up, it's all air. Like as if it were like foam, like protruded or like spat out, versus like the heads of those creatures are just rock solid.
All right, that makes sense. And have we seen anything like any of these creatures before? Or is this all like literally we've never even heard or seen anything like this?
Roll an arcana.
Nat 20 for 21.
I don't think you've seen anything like this, except for the sort of understanding that perhaps this is the same sort of nature as like the mutations you and Malchin underwent, where there's like a human starter and the results are not necessarily human. A lot of venoms and poisons have perhaps insectoid starts to them. So perhaps that's where there's almost like an insectoid kind of like feel to these, but it's not necessarily like the start and end, the have all, the end all of that question. Um, I think that's probably a solid way to understand and give you a little bit more information is just to say, like, this could be the working of kind of that chaotic mutation sort of aspect, and it's just a different kind of mutation.
And like that dead body felt more like just food for the creatures. But did the first creatures we saw feel like they might have started off human and turned into that? Or like anything like that?
Roll an insight.
Oh, it's really low.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you suffer too much off that 20, though. Um, the dead body hasn't been fed on. Nothing ate that body. It was a full intact corpse.
Maybe it was gonna like crawl in an ear and take over a brain and bring it back as some kind of like zombie alien bug creature.
So, do you continue forward and on to the northwestern hole? Do you want to return to the hallway and investigate one of those initial doors?
I think we should cut the shit and go straight for the business. See where that hallway leads to.
All right, I'm fine with that.
Gotcha.
So
By
as
the Go ahead.
I was gonna say, as we're walking at some point in time, when like Jinx is next to Dalton, he's like not like hiding it or anything, but not like announcing it either. But he's just gonna say, Dalton, if shit hits the fan and you gotta nuke this place, pull out the little wand and get your pew pew on. Don't be afraid of the consequences. These things get out, they could destroy the whole city, whatever they are.
The implications of a this means nuke everything given to a character who is not here this week.
I'll also say to him, and if you're having any like moral hangups or anything like that, just hand me the wand. I know what to do. There, you happy?
I think Gale has Fireball. You can tell Gale, just make sure to nuke everything if it comes down to it. But I get what you're going for because he has spell slots versus that Wand of Fireball will probably always have at least one spell slot left. So, walking up the hall and approaching those two doors, you will see that there are the two doors, but as well as staircase. On the staircase is another corpse. Again, this was like, a full body. It's not been fed on by anything. And it's just another civilian who seems to be kind of like dead. And it would appear that they were killed on the actual stairs. Uh, yeah, you'd have to look closer for anything else.
I think Gale will move look closer to see if we can find anything.
You could do perception, just looking over. You could do an investigation, like actually moving her.
He's doing investigation, getting hands on. 27.
Like pulling her off the stairs and kind of like moving her down a little bit. You can see that this person seems to have been killed by like an actual like cutting blow, as if they were like slashed through by a sword kind of thing. Not typical for a normal kind of like death in the city. It's not often that people are actually like attacked by actual weaponry here. So it kind of just has a little bit of like a feel that this place was raided at some point, perhaps by cultists, and this was just one of the first people to fall. Bruising probably gives you a little bit of a perspective that they were killed on the stairs and fell down from above to this point.
Yeah, well, I've noticed that you don't have any problem at all when it comes to fingering around dead bodies. Are you into like the necromantic magics or anything like that, or you just figure once something's dead, who cares? And I'm not judging you or anything like that. I don't want you to be squeamish. I've just noticed.
No, can't say I've dabbled in any necromancy.
You ever
It's a
think about it?
well, I mean, sure, there's plenty of useful spells in necromancy.
Yeah, I saw some pretty cool stuff when I was reading about it. Not gonna lie, if I told you I wasn't thinking about it, I wouldn't be telling you the truth.
That felt a lot like the you got any necromancy in you? No. Do you want some?
That's definitely gonna be my joke if I go necromancy.
I mean, necromancy is pretty useful. Useful. There's like revivify, bring people back from death, things like that. Other things to keep you alive.
Well, and there's like a whole part of the city we've never even like begin to explore where, that stuff is, I mean, it's not even not frowned on. It's like the way.
It's a bit more of how you use it. To be honest, like no one complains about necromancy when you bring someone back from death, uh, so long as they're back as their self. It's another place when you bring someone back from the death as a zombie or a walking skeleton.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy when you think about it. I guess it's like the difference between just like existing, being sentient, and like, I don't know, being what people remember you as versus whatever a zombie is.
And no one really likes when someone take Uncle Bob's corpse and makes him parade around town.
Sure, sure. But if you drop a revivify, everybody's kissing your toes. Funny how that works. Well, anyway, sorry, get distracted easily. Shall we proceed?
Yeah, let's climb these stairs.
What is the name of the crypt again?
Um, well, there's like two kind of different things. There's the actual necropolis, which is the
Yeah, that's
entire
right.
like grave site, and then 132 on the eastern side overlooking the crypts. That is the I don't think it's the Dark Reliquary. But that has like its own name. That's like a whole other palace that most people would know, especially the two of you who are. Well, I think now all three of you are from Tolis, so I think all three of you would know that. I think it's the Dark Reliquary, though.
Yeah, the necropolis. Okay, that's what I was thinking about when I was looking at my secrets before, and I was thinking about some of those spells. I feel like
So you're. Oh, go
Dalton
ahead.
has like inflict wounds too. So like of all the times to like have this conversation, he's like dabbled in necromancy a bit. He's like not even here to chime in, so we'll have to retcon in whatever he has to say about it next time.
Yeah, I was right. It's the Dark Reliquary. So with noticing the stairs, you are now going to walk up the stairs instead of checking these rooms or these doors.
Oh, I don't know. I think we kind of got distracted by the body. Do we want to go up the stairs or do we want to check them? What y'all think? Should we clear these other rooms or follow the leader?
Think due diligence and all that. Just check him out, make sure we don't miss anything.
It's not a bad idea, so we don't get something coming up behind us.
Start with the west one or the east one.
Sure, it's just another broom closet anyway. Nothing dangerous gonna be in here, ready to pounce the moment we enter. And then I'll open the door.
All right. So in this one, you can see the little hallway. Again, it's another thrashed room. Just like everything else, there's a lot of like broken furniture. Things are thrown about. You can kind of see that like thrown struggle, kind of like breaking an entry kind of like thing throughout all of these rooms of this place. But you do notice in this one, like the door to the next room, to that like square in the northwestern, is broken like off the hinges, and the door is like shattered in pieces. Wood just kind of like exploded about this room. So that door was like violently torn off the hinges and kind of broken apart. There is signs of more wood kind of being broken apart from like the floor in that room. Like kind of from your initial view though, it's just almost seeing like the broken door, but you see like a whole lot of broken wood in this place, like all around, like in this view. And let me have each of you make a perception check.
That is an 11 for Gale.
And 22.
Gotcha. Jinx. So as you guys like bust open this door and like look in, Jinx, you notice that on like the ceiling, kind of between those two rooms, there's like a purple substance that's like on the ceiling, and it's almost like there's just like a gelatinous purple goo that's on the ceiling of that room. And that's basically like right between the two rooms.
Well, what is that? Purple mud? I mean, I'm gonna put light on the head of my staff and like shine it at it and like kind of get up like maybe about like 8 inches away. Try to look like through it, see if I could see something behind it.
You can't really like see anything like through or behind it. But as you do approach it with your staff and like the light, you do like extend yourself and get close enough to recognize that there is a hole in the floor in that room in front of you there. But as you're like investigating this like purple mass, you can see there's some sort of, maybe not intelligence, but this thing's reacting and moving, whether there's like flows in the room that are causing it to happen. There seems to be some sort of effect from the light from your staff being brought close to this creature. Not creature, this ooze on the ceiling.
There's a hole through there in the floor. See how those things are getting in and out? I don't know what the hell that is. Didn't we didn't we fight some goo before that was like alive and acidic?
Yeah, something like that.
Kind of sitting there. Feel like if we don't provoke it, unless we want to go down that hole or just kill it cuz. And I'm not throwing my boomerang at it, and I don't know if I can be like insulting enough to hurt a goo puddle or whatever their pile.
As long as it's not moving from there so far, maybe we should check the other room.
Don't gotta tell me twice.
Gotcha. So you move over to this last door.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
When you go to open that one, it is locked.
Well, guess we're not going that way. That one's locked.
Hey, can Dalton lockpick it? Swear I've seen him do that before.
You've got 3 rogues with you right now. But yeah, Dalton can do the lock picking if you would like to roll.
I mean, you can try, but I could tell by the way that that handle jiggled that we're not going to be able to make it through this one. That thing is unpickable.
I rolled a 10 for Dalton to pick the lock.
And like the whole time, Jinx is just gaslighting him.
My bad. I was going to say with the extra rogues, roll with advantage. So let me get one more d20. And I'm trying to bring up his stats so I can see.
That is a 4, so the 10 is the big number.
What is it? It's not specifically sleight of hand. It's dexterity plus plus proficiency. So plus 6. So it's a rolled 16. So I think it's not enough for him to just unlock the door. The door is, it's not beyond his capabilities. It's just going to be something that is difficult for him to pick. If you guys want to invest the time in it, he can pick this lock. It's just going to take more than a moment to do so.
I mean, I think we can wait for him to get it done.
Uh, yeah, I'm okay with that. The whole time, Jinx is just gonna keep gaslighting him, and he's gonna talk about like how we have like the magic key, and that this is the type of lock that that key is for, and that like no human could ever pick this lock without a special key like that because it's max like locked with magical power.
I'm not going to try to pretend to replicate Justin's voice, but Dalton kind of looks at you and you'll remember that the use of that key nearly killed me and was incredibly exhausting. It's the time when we first encountered the tolling bell cult. We had little other choice but to flee because that key sapped so much life from me. And also there was the Hydra.
Oh yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I remember it like it was yesterday, but that's what I'm saying is, you remember how hard it was to get through that thing. Could have never picked it. But probably about the same difficulty as this lock. And now I can tell that just from the rattle, the way that the handle felt as I jiggled it. Might even get into the whole rogue thing here now that I think about it. I mean, got quite the group here. I'm sure you could teach me all your stuff here in a couple of days or whatever. I could do the rogue thing too. Could all be rogues. Shit, Gail, you ever think about being a bard? I could teach you a little thing or two. Got a little bard in you, I could tell. You're good with stories, you're a talker. Always got something to say, you're clever, you're fun, you're funny. I think you're already thinking about being a bard.
Yeah, I'll just like very noticeably ignore you.
Like exactly what we needed. More bards, bard sidekicks. We should have bard characters. Everybody should be bards.
Jinx like doesn't even know what to do right now because he's trying to keep gaslighting Dalton, but also like now you've got his attention because he's like, no, no, he's like trying to convince you. You got to get your bard on.
So when Dalton finally like gets this latch and unpicks it, he kind of like flings open the door, and you just see inside of there are two creatures that they're not like actively guarding this area where they're like ready to attack, but they're like standing up facing one another, but staring directly at the door. They look vaguely, roughly humanoid, but they're like 3.5 feet tall. They have pig like faces, bat like qualities in their ears, and they're just like these muscular, tiny humans, almost kind of thing. And they're just like staring at one another, staring at you while they're kind of like faced one another. They each have like pots and pans and like things in their hands, and they're standing in like a little bit of a kitchen. But you can kind of see this room, like many others, is thrashed about and kind of in disarray. And roll initiative. And it's going to come from Dalton. So whoever likes to roll, you've got a +4 to your initiative.
That is a total of 10.
I've got a total of not more than 10. So it's going to go ahead to you to kind of make a decision what Dalton is doing. And I'm just going to switch it around a bit. Put Dalton in the front there. So what do you guys want Dalton to do as you toss open this door and you see this one more room, two little creatures inside of it, and they're staring directly at you.
Jinx is gonna whisper in Dalton's ear, "You know what to do."
sorry about interrupting their dinner, and close the door.
Gotcha. You guys close the door and walk on, go up the stairs.
They didn't seem overtly hostile, like they were just looking at the direction at the door or at us, right? Holding pots and pans.
It's kind of where you lose out on a little bit of potential information because you act first. I'd say on some level, like the way of me asking for you to roll initiative, there is hostility happening there. It was more that, like, him opening the door, they were already staring at him.
Yeah. I mean, we know this is cult territory. Maybe it's just vicious mockery then? Or one of them?
Gotcha. So you just have Dalton call off, like, the northern one. Both of these creatures almost look exactly identical. So just kind of call off, like, the left one and have him do a vicious mock. I believe that's going to save. So wisdom is his DC 15 as well.
I would say probably, but I'm not sure. Like I have +4 to charisma, so I would imagine his is
Right.
probably that.
You don't have anything magical that's giving you that +4. I feel like it's got to be the same.
No, I would imagine that's probably what he has.
I mean, unless he has like 20 charisma.
No, no, he has not completed the 20 charisma, but these things have a negative. A rolled 15 is a fail. So it's going to take 3 damage.
I think Gale? Uh, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna cast sleep on them.
Gotcha. So do you want to call that out and let everybody else act first, or do you want to try to put both of them to sleep first?
I think I'll put both of them to sleep first, and then we can like focus on one, in case not both of them fall asleep. And if both of them fall asleep, we can just still focus on one.
Gotcha. How many hit points did you roll there?
Oh, that's a low roll, 19. 2 ones.
Gotcha. So you are going to put the left one to sleep. The other one remains awake. So the one Dalton attacked or Dalton called out is the one that is asleep.
When you say the left one, I'm guessing it's like the northern one. So
Northern, yep. From your perspective as you guys walk in.
just making sure.
Jinx is gonna say, "It didn't have to be like this," and I'm gonna boomerang the other one. 15.
15 does in fact hit.
For 7.
Excellent. And what would the sidekicks like to do?
I'm just wondering, what kind of ranged attack the cut purses would have? Like,
I would say usually, like for NPCs, I'm pretty keen to just let them make their main attack ranged or like distance, like range or melee. But I would say basically you guys could give like each of them like a light crossbow as far as like things go. But one of the things is they are your sidekicks. You guys can equip them however you would like. You just have to give them that equipment. But I think you could have picked up light crossbows in the past, probably most recently. So I would say if you'd like, you can make a light crossbow attack. So I think just dexterity based attack should be the same modifiers. And then it's just a D8 plus, I think, what, a +2?
Neffy threw a poison bomb and hit and did 6 damage. And then a 15 con check. Or be poisoned for 1 turn.
that would be a dirty 20 for Tom to hit, and then D8. For a total of 8 damage.
Gotcha. That is going to kill that one. So you guys just have the sleeping one on the north.
Pick that one up and find out that they were just like gnomes that had been mutated, trying to live their lives.
Probably just put it out of its misery, you know, just kind of all bonk it right at the same time.
Yeah, I mean,
My bad. I don't think Tom can cover all of those spaces. Could he? Can he
oh
start?
no, no, not. I was thinking like next turn.
Gotcha. Who do we got? Did you guys make an attack with Karina?
No, we did not.
Yeah, I mean, she could hold off her attack and just not attack, and that way you guys could just let it sleep for a turn.
Yeah, I'm thinking she'll like dash over so that she can hit it next turn.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you guys wait another turn. Is the intention to kill this other creature?
I mean, I like to use the word bonk, but yeah.
Ah. So I think without any level of difficulty, you guys can kill the other one uh, before it can come to. So, with a little bit more of kind of an understanding of this room as you guys look around, this does appear to be like another apartment, but you can see that like they're in like a little kitchen area, and like over near where like Tom is, there's like a little bit of a table that's been like set back up, and on top of this table there are 2 vials, maybe 3 vials. There are a number of vials that have some sort of liquid in it. I want to say that it is a purple liquid. But I want to confirm before I actively say that. Damn, I can't believe I lost that fucking description. Um, yeah, let's stick to it's a purple liquid in two of the vials, and there are three empty vials and a syringe sitting on this table that seems like it's just kind of like propped back up. Like there's definitely like say like a broken fourth leg. So there's three legs of the table, and the broken leg is just like closest to one of the walls. So the table's like not extremely sturdy, but at present the table is standing up.
Would I recognize this, or would we? I guess just specifically for me as shrivel, or like how you would take shrivel or do shrivel.
Ooh, I don't remember the exact description of shrivel, but shrivel is like a like dried like seaweed kind of thing. This is something else. This appears to be like liquid.
Ever seen anything like this? Some kind of drug or something? Or is this like how alchemists do it? I mean, the needle kind of makes me think it's going in something.
I'm not familiar enough with either alchemy or drugs, so
Oh, shoot. Think this is what they make like these creatures from? Injecting this stuff in them, like it turns them into some alien bug creature thing.
that is a possibility. We could pocket it and take it to an alchemist, maybe see if they.
Neffy, come take a look at this. You know about this right here. Get those little gangly ass octafingers or whatever over here and tell us what this is. Please, I mean.
Equal partners.
I think that's some of the most fun dynamic is like the animosity between the players and the NPCs.
Yeah, I feel like you guys kind of went over a lot while I was like searching for something, but I think Neffy's probable response is sort of like to the level of like alchemy is concerned primarily with the creation of one substance from another. We don't all have to do perverted and horrific things in order to do it. As her arms separate and become like all of these tiny little like nodules, and she becomes this horrific creature. And she kind of goes over to the vials and starts to like investigate them a little bit closer. You can see like one of her fingers now has like a magnifying glass kind of like positioned on it so she can kind of investigate closer. And you can see is it like slots between these like magnifications as like another glass like slides in front. You can see she's got like multiple levels of magnification, and like they're super sturdy compared to like where your muscles might have twitches, because hers are now like metal arms. She's not like kind of like susceptible to those same things. You can see she's still augmenting even past having met with the surgeon in the shadows. Looking over it for a moment, uh, this doesn't appear to be any substance that I'm aware of. I don't know exactly what this is, but and again, there should be three vials of it filled, five vials of it used. It would appear this is indeed where they've been injecting at least some of these, maybe people here with this stuff. How many of the nests of the cocoons have we found? And she'll basically kind of like go to recall you guys have seen five vials empty, and so far you guys have seen three of these cocoons, one of which had like the dead body inside, but basically that you've seen the potential that maybe there's two more.
I mean, this stuff can't possibly be used for good, so to destroy these vials, right? There's no reason to keep them, Neffy.
Perhaps there's no reason to keep them, but there's also potentially no reason to destroy them. If we have them, we're not going to inject anybody with them, and that is as good as destroying them. But if we destroy them, there's no way for us to help anybody who might already have been converted.
Promise me that you're not going to sell those things, that you're not going to experiment on anybody with.
She says nothing.
Then I'll like go to destroy them. I'll look over at her one more time before I do.
You can't help anybody if they're gone. We get to choose if we harm anybody, if we use them.
But we're not selling them, and we're not experimenting on anyone with them. Say it, or I'll destroy them. I'm not kidding.
I mean, she's not wrong. Maybe it is a good idea to take them with us. I could take them to the inverted pyramid and see if anyone there can figure out what they do and how they're made. Or if there's a way to reverse their effects.
Just don't want these to end up in the wrong hands. Worst thing that could happen for this city is we defend it from all these outside threats, then something makes it fall from within. I don't care if it's drivel. I don't care if it's whatever these things are. I don't care if it's demons. City is our home. Most important thing is keep it safe. So
I
like reluctantly, Jinx will like back down.
Gail
Were you
will
gonna say something else, Chris?
probably. No, I won't say anything else on that. I think Gail will just like pocket the two purple vials.
Gotcha. Write down two vials of Ascara.
Ascara.
Yep. Askara. And Nefrandel's going to take the third.
And then well, we're going for this other door right here.
That door as well is locked.
I mean, you got lucky once, Walt Dalton. You think you could do it again? It's like he hits him with like a just a little warm up. Let one of the whatchamacallits assist one of the other rogues.
So he can have advantage again? Or
You can indeed.
okay, so the 12 was the highest roll number.
Dalton like walks over there and he's like preparing to unlock this door. Before he sees one of these little creatures has a key on its person, and he walks over, grabs the key, and unlocks the door. Inside, you guys can find that there are four civilians who are otherwise, it would appear, unharmed, locked inside of this room.
Are they just like conscious, like hanging out, or are they like in cages?
You kind of like open the door, and you'll basically see they seem to be kind of huddled with a little bit of fear from what they've heard, but they don't seem to be like making much noise or sound. They're just kind of like cowering in the corner and kind of like looking out, kind of sharing like body warmth with each other. Vastly scared, hungry, don't really seem to be wounded, but they'll kind of show a little bit of surprise to see like you guys open the door here. Are are you going to hurt us?
No, it's the opposite. You see, here to clear this place out, stop whatever the hell's been going on. Whatever y'all been experiencing, it's over. You're safe now.
They'll kind of like stand up one after another. You'll see there's like three humans. Oh, there's five people. My bad. Four humans, and there is another person who seems to have some like elf-like qualities. But these five people will just kind of like slowly stand, and they'll kind of like move towards the door. Oh, we're free to go.
Y'all know anything about this place? Who captured you? What they were? Well, we got a good idea what they were planning on doing, but why they captured you or anything? Y'all figure out any important details that could help us?
Roll a persuasion.
22.
We've been locked inside here for some days now. It's hard to know the passage of time and the darkness, but it's felt like this. They came and attacked us quickly. Well, there was no chance for the guards. I don't. No one roused the guards. We didn't have a chance. Didn't. And like you can get little bits of information about like the attack out of them, but in kind of a similar fashion. Like these people don't really know how long they've been here, but you have a solid idea, probably like 3 to 5 days. They understand that they were attacked quickly. They don't always know why they were attacked, but some of them have seen people who were injected, like from their family kind of thing. Others are basically like asking questions about like this person or that person. But you can basically understand that it seems like this place was attacked one by one. Whoever was in like each apartment was like captured and eventually brought here. People were either injected or they were not. And that's just kind of like the state they were in. But these people have almost been just like kind of huddled in fear, expecting that they were the next person to be brought out. If that person had already seen somebody injected, they assumed that's what it was for. But it was like they basically know it seems like people were injected and then like left too. And some of those people they would never see again. Other people they would hear them screaming. But it was like those ones who were like held in this room were always sort of isolated in that way.
There's nothing else, Gail. I think we should get him out of here. Dalton.
Yeah, do you have anywhere to go? Uh,
Yeah, like if you guys are prepared to let them go, these people effectively just kind of like walk off and will, kind of disappear into the city sort of thing. Um,
So before they leave, or as they're like getting ready to leave, Jinx is gonna like dig around in his purse and pull out, and I'm gonna give each of them that leaves 10 gold. So what is there, 6 of them?
five, so you can subtract 50 gold.
Okay, 5 of them, 50 gold, and then I'm gonna give like just a short little compelling speech that like they can be free to go about their regular lives, or if they want to fight against the good fight of evil and chaos, that they can wait outside, and when we exit, they can join us and become one of our party. In case anybody wants to be the next NPC. I mean, equal part.
Yeah, you'll see like one of them kind of like it almost like turns to your speech as they're like preparing to like walk out. They like all kind of like thank you for like the little bit of gold and the coin. And this one kind of like turns and like takes another moment to like listen to the speech. And they'll kind of reach out and like, you know, kind of like one of those handshakes where you're like shaking the other person's like elbow, like that like deep it's like a brotherhood kind of handshake. He'll kind of like look out to you and I'll fight against chaos with you. Jamil, uh look for me when you leave this place. And he kind of like looks up like around the building like with a little bit of disgust to him. I'll not be far from here, but when you exit, you are alive, you have my aid.
All right, yeah. So Jinx will say the same thing, introduce himself, pull out a cigarette and give him one of them, and say it won't be long. He'll offer one to everybody else too that wants one.
What kind of sidekick is he?
Do we have an opening somewhere?
I'm sure you guys have openings.
yeah, I mean, so far we have like what rogue fighters and bards and like FE artificer.
Maybe a monk or a druid?
I feel like Monk would probably fit better with the city setting. You're not really gonna find too many druids inside a Tolis.
Okay, let's go with that then. So we'll go with a monk, acolyte of the way.
I always heard elemental monks were the most powerful.
Oh, there might be. I just picked that one because it sounded cool. Acolyte of darkness sounds kind of cool too, but the way sounds like super culty.
My bad. I was honestly 100% talking shit about actual elemental monks. I think Acolyte of the Way is like the straight up like traditional monk though. I think that's like the classic.
I wish like the elemental monk stuff was more useful.
You're like, do you want to be a wizard but bad at everything that you do? Elemental monk.
Yeah, they could have done some really, really freaking cool stuff with it.
So we're kind of at a good spot for us to quit here, having like saved like the actual like people who are on this bottom level. You guys are starting to sort of understand what's going on in this place. I feel like it's an ideal spot for us to bring Dalton back into the party next week with Justin's return. Does that sound good to the two of you that we Well, also, I think Chris, now because of your new job, you have a hard stop really at 7.
Yeah, because I have to get up early nowadays.
So I think thinking about it like that is the reminder that I needed to say it's 7 o'clock. It's been a pleasure, guys. And we'll pick up here next week.
Yeah, that's fine with me.